Welcome to Club Nurse. I'm Colton Lord, your host. By you being here today, it shows me that you are someone who wants to learn, grow, laugh, connect, and just let your emotions flow. We are here to share real stories and hear real life experiences from real people. You are not alone in this, and Club Nurse is here to show you that. Don't forget to follow the show and share today's episode with someone you love. Now, let's dive into today's conversation. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Club Nurse. My name is Colton Lord, your host of this podcast. I am so grateful, so thankful every week, every time you tune into an episode to listen, whatever the reason may be. It's probably just the information that you are curious about. But this is our nurse news segment. And so in these segments, basically what I'm going to do is just give you up-to-date news headlines or things that are happening in the healthcare and nursing world. Sometimes they're heavy, sometimes they're fun, sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's bad news. And it really just depends on what's happening in the world. There's not a whole lot to report on this week. I will start out and just tell you that the main episode for this podcast, the Club Nurse podcast, releases every Wednesday. And this week on Wednesday, September 24th, I am releasing an episode, a solo episode, where I dive into really how to avoid the night shift. I think a lot of nurses just kind of think that this is something that you have to do to earn your stripes. It's a badge of honor. It's something that you have to do as a nurse in order to be initiated into the field. And I just don't think that's true. I go against that. I think that depending on what you're trying to do and what you are looking for in your nursing career, sure, you may have to work some night shift. Some people do it by choice, which by all means, please do. This episode really is for people who are just questioning, like, is the night shift for me? Are there other options out there? And really, how do I avoid having to work night shift, and what does that look like for me? So I did a deep dive into that on this week's episode coming out Wednesday, and I just really used my personal experience as a nurse. I've been a nurse for almost 7 years, and I have never held a full-time night shift position. There have been moments in time where I've had to do a few shifts, maybe a couple weeks. I did work a night shift position as a CNA a couple times. So yeah, I really take you through my thoughts on that, my journey through in nursing and my experience on how I think is the best way to avoid night shift, how to keep yourself on day shift, maybe some mid shifts, and give you my insight there. So make sure you catch that full episode coming out on Wednesday, September 24th. Whenever you're listening to this, again, you may just have to scroll back and find that episode on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or on Nurse.org/Club Nurse. Now let's get into this week. So I wanted to kind of start with something kind of fun, like a social media roundup. Because what I've found is that, you know what, nurses really have taken social media by storm. And when I go through and look at nurses who have gone headfirst into social media, is that, you know, everybody's platform is a little bit different and it's unique, and they bring themselves to the platform, and their audiences, although maybe similar, it's also very different. You know, I think that nurses, we're not only bringing in audiences of nurses, it's really people who are just interested in certain things. For example, hospice nurse Julie has a huge platform that is not really just for nurses. This is for people who are interested in death and dying and taking care of a loved one who may be at the end of their life, or maybe they are on hospice and they have questions, or they're dealing with a terminal illness. And so I think that it's things like that it's really inspiring to see, especially for nurses who are maybe considering going down that social media journey. And I really think that building any kind of personal brand for yourself is important. It's an extension of you. Social media can be a very treacherous and difficult place to be. It really is just an extension of who we are, and it's a great creative outlet for people. Again, it comes with many cons, and I'm not gonna lie about that. I've had some really difficult moments on social media, but overall, I really think that it's a great place, especially for nurses, to spread their education, their personality, their art, their life stories, their humor, just really anything. But yeah, I wanted to talk about a couple things that I have seen on social media this week that I just thought were great, cool, funny, whatever that may be. So first of all, I saw that Lindsay Shelton with Scrub Hacks. I saw that she had posted that the Today Show had covered her adoption journey with her dog. If you don't know, I'm sure that you do. But if you don't know, she had a dog named Murphy, and Murphy died pretty suddenly. And Lindsay was scrolling through social media and Pet Finder. I believe it was Pet Finder. Don't quote me on that. But basically, she had seen another dog who looked very similar to her Murphy, and so she takes you through her whole emotional journey, how she went to, I believe, to Pennsylvania to adopt the dog and bring the dog back to California where she lives, and just takes you through that whole emotional roller coaster and really how it just felt like fate. And it's a really beautiful story. Nothing to do with nursing, but again, just an extension of who she is and her passion and love for dogs. And so I found that really heartwarming and amazing that, something like the Today Show is covering this. I mean, again, this is huge for nursing just in general, that these huge news stations or anything like that are just even picking up on these stories that nurses are putting out. So shout out to Lindsay, Scrub Hacks, super awesome. And like I spoke about earlier, hospice nurse Julie, she had just posted that she reached 500,000 followers on her Instagram. So cool, so awesome. Not easy to do. She is doing a giveaway. So if this episode releases and it's still active, go check her out, enter the giveaway. She's giving away a pretty cool basket. I did see that Nurse Blake is on tour, and I saw that Noah Weil, I hope that's how you say his last name. If you have followed this podcast at all, you know that my pronunciation of people's names probably needs some work. But Noah Weil, the Emmy winner for The Pit, was at Nurse Blake's show. He posted a picture with him. Blake is on his comedy tour. So amazing, so cool. The fact that Noah Weil even took the time to show up and see the nursing community out there. And really, honestly, he's probably just like taking notes. Like, let me go watch this, funny show, be around a bunch of nurses. And then also just like kind of take, mental notes. Maybe he was taking physical notes. I don't know, of just like, oh, how can I bring this back into the show? Like, that's super cool. Congrats to Blake. It's amazing to even do something like that, put on a tour and have people show up. Blake is hilarious. I have seen his show before. So if he's coming to a city near you, be sure to get tickets to Blake's But Did You Die tour. He's super funny, super personable, is great on stage. So those are kind of like my little social media roundup for nurses. That's kind of the first one I've done. Let us know if you like that. I think I'll kind of like to throw that in here and there of just things that I'm seeing on social media from nurses that I'm just finding heartwarming or that I feel like I want to share with the audience. So as far as nurse news this week, I don't have a whole lot to kind of cover with you. Let's talk about, a lot of people were really interested in this Nurse Jackie story. So Nurse Jackie is returning a decade later and without her nursing license. So similar to The Pit, I've never watched Nurse Jackie. I did say in my last episode, I believe, that I'm not huge into medical shows. I applaud The Pit and the work that they did and have done and continue to do. I've only heard great things and I love that. I just don't love to watch something like that when I'm not at work. And I think just because of like the timing of when The Pit was released and where I was in my life, of like I had just exited my ER job. It may have come out while I was still kind of working in the ER, but I just was like, I just don't want to relive that right now. And especially from what I've heard, it's a very realistic show. And that's why it's gotten so many accolades and approvals, is because of how realistic it is. And while I applaud and appreciate that, I just specifically for myself just don't want to relive that or go through that right now. Maybe I'll go back through it. It'll be something maybe I binge watch later, just not into it right at this time. But again, with Nurse Jackie, also something I never really watched. I think this really actually came out, I was probably younger, probably in high school, maybe even before. So that's probably why I was not watching this. But if you don't know the storyline of Nurse Jackie, this might be a little spoiler alert. So if you've never watched it, and you're wanting to, maybe skip past this part. But in the first 7 seasons of Nurse Jackie, and this is coming from the Nurse.org news article. So if you would like to access that, be sure to go to nurse.org/news and you can find the Nurse Jackie article. Literally, if you go to nurse.org/news, there is a search bar. Just type in Nurse Jackie. It'll bring up the article for you. But in the first 7 seasons, it takes you through an ER nurse in New York City, juggling work, family drama, a secret opiate addiction. The show's arc takes viewers through Jackie's double life, saving patients by day, slipping deeper into substance abuse by night. As she manipulates the hospital system, she keeps her marriage afloat and attempts rehab with plenty of relapses. And this is, I feel like, very realistic as well. There's a lot of people, a lot of nurses who struggle with opiate addiction, alcohol addiction, other addictions, maybe sex and love addiction. Like there's just a lot of addiction in the world, but in nursing as well, just because of the nature of what we deal with. And so I think that that's something great that they brought to life. It sounds like she had gotten many Emmy nominations for this show as well. And I believe she did actually have an Emmy win in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, winning 2010 award for Best Actress in a Comedy Series. So the storyline includes an affair and messy breakup with hospital pharmacist Eddie, the unraveling of her family life as her addiction is exposed, her friendship and betrayal with fellow nurses, and recurring feuds in hospital administration. So basically, what's next for Nurse Jackie? There's no confirmed release date, but the show's production moved from Showtime to Amazon Prime last year. The reboot is set a decade after the original, following Jackie as she grapples with life after losing her nursing license and faces new temptations and challenges in a world where trying to be good in a world where being bad is often not only easier, but a lot more fun. And that's a quote coming from the Nurse.org news article. So Falco explained that she's reviving Nurse Jackie now because mental health issues and subsequent drug use are still a very big danger, hoping that the new season inspires professionals facing similar challenges. Nurses rarely get to see characters who are this complex, this messy, and this central in a medical drama. Jackie Payton isn't always like people in our real lives. She's amplified, dramatized, but she shows what it feels like to be stretched past breaking, to make mistakes, to try to be good in a system that often pushes back. So this is great. I love this for the nursing world. Love this for Nurse Jackie fans. Sounds like they really also cover a lot of really important topics: mental health, addiction, things that people silently struggle with, and it's shameful, or they feel shameful. And so when you see these things, when people silently struggle and they see things like this, it helps. And so maybe even if you don't struggle with those and you don't maybe understand, I just think if you were in someone's position of mental health battle or addiction and your shame spiraling, like just knowing or seeing something that represents you just makes you feel a little bit less alone. All right, the last couple things that I wanted to cover, these are very light, very sweet. So this article says a dog gone miracle. Stowe nurse saves neighbor's dog who was choking on a chicken bone. Girl, I love this, and the outcome is amazing. The dog was choking on a chicken bone. They tried the Heimlich, couldn't get it out. They were able to see the bone when they opened the dog's mouth, and she was able to get it out and give the dog CPR, and ultimately the dog lived. So I love this. It's a good outcome. Nurses are just saving the day, and most importantly, our furry friends. So sweet. Shout out to Kim Cook, who is a registered nurse, who had been a nurse for more than 35 years of human patients. And she saved Winston, her four-legged neighbor. So sweet. And then the other one that I want to share with you, oh my God, this is so cute. A Labrador pretends to be a patient for a student nurse, which I love. And if any of you have ever watched my content, my dog Ellie is the best patient. I have dressed her up in a gown, and I don't think that she loves it, but she does because she loves me. And I've put a wig on her. I have done some CPR, with Ellie. She's been my patient. She's great. So I love this. Olivia Hancock is her @_Olivia.Hancock is her handle on TikTok. She basically is just kind of walking through with her dog Bella while she's doing her skills checkoffs. It's so cute and I love it. Make sure you go watch it. Dogs are the best. Hello. Her dog Bella is the best little lab, black lab as her patient. And that's really all I wanted to cover this week on Nurse News. We're talking about Nurse Jackie. We're talking about dogs because dogs are way better than humans, and I will argue that forever. I think everyone would agree with me on that. We had a lot of dogs this week. Lindsay with rescuing her dog, Scrub Hacks, and then the Labrador, who is the patient, Bella, and then the dog who named Winston, who was choking on a chicken bone and needed CPR. Slay. All right, that is the news for this week. Make sure to follow on socials @Nurse Colton, @Colton Allen Lord. make sure you check out at Nurse.org. They post all these episodes and these articles, Nurse.org. If that's their main website, you can also go to Nurse.org/news or Nurse.org/Club Nurse. There is also a Club Nurse Instagram page at club.nurse. So whatever you're interested in, make sure you check all of that out on socials. Thank you so much for being here on this Nurse News segment on the Club Nurse podcast. Again, my name is Colton Lord, your host, and I am just so grateful that you're here. You're amazing. You're fabulous. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, whatever time it is that you're listening to this. And again, if you're interested in learning about how to avoid the night shift, check out this week's episode on Club Nurse, releasing Wednesday, September 24th. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye. From the bottom of my heart, I wanted to thank you for being here at Club Nurse. I hope you gained something valuable from today's episode. And if you did, remember to share this episode with someone that you love. Follow me on socials at Nurse Daddies or Colton Lord 17, and be sure to follow Nurse.org to stay informed with all of the hottest healthcare topics. Until next time, take care of yourself the way you take care of everyone else. Love ya. Bye.